Hi, I'm Nick Maselli. At TD Bank, we believe all citizens need to be informed about the important financial issues that affect their daily lives. That's why we're proud to support programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation and their partners in public television.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Virtua, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, New Jersey Natural Gas, proud to support education in our communities, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, and by the New Jersey Education Association, working for great public schools for every child. Promotional support provided by the Star Ledger, powering NJ.com, and by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association and its monthly magazine, New Jersey Business.
This is One-on-One.
When you first heard that they were doing Charlie Rose and Gayle King, didn't you go, what?
People like laughing at others, so I don't mind if the other is me.
See, you go right into the character. That's what it is.
I'm bringing families together a half an hour each week. Man, I'm doing something special.
And so I do feel successful.
Midnight, Harlem. Once it was true. In 1932, Harlem's heartbeat was a drumbeat. After midnight, early blue evening, lights ain't come on yet. He coming on now.
Man, that looks great. And so does she, Adriane Lennox, who's an actress and singer in After Midnight on Broadway. Hey, that looks wild. Looks great.
From beginning to the end.
The entire time?
The entire time.
Describe what people are going to see.
They will see tap dancing, modern dance, jazz dance, hear blues singing, hear jazz singing. They hear a fantastic band. Jazz at Lincoln Center All-Stars. And
Wynton Marsalis?
Yeah, Wynton Marsalis with the band. When we did it originally in 2011 at City Center, the Encore series at City Center, Wynton was actually a part of the orchestra.
Wow.
Yeah.
Describe your role.
I am the blues one. I represent the blues, and not really like, oh, my man done me wrong, sort of blues, but I mean, sort of like that, but in a more comic way,
right?
You know, so I get a chance to, you know, tell him off. So I'm not just down and out about it.
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know,
now
in charge of it.
The music is extraordinary. There are two big songs you perform,
yeah, I
right?
sing two songs.
Okay, let's set these up first.
Yeah.
One of them is
the first
Women Be Wise.
Women Be Wise, right?
Telling women what? What are you telling women?
I'm telling women to just be careful about what they're saying to their girlfriends about their man. Because
hold on.
Yeah, okay.
I want my wife Jennifer to listen right now to this conversation. I apologize for interrupting, Adrian. Go ahead.
No. Well, basically, you don't want to tell all of his good, fabulous qualities, because then the women will be wanting to say, okay, well, why don't I try to, you know, get in on that, you know? So you don't tell them, you can tell them some bad things about him so they can stay away from him, but you don't want them to know how fabulous he is. All the lovely things he's doing for you.
You don't put your business on the street?
No, child, please, come on. Just shut up.
Just shut up. Okay, now the other song is?
Go Back Where You Stayed Last Night.
Now that is, set that up a little bit.
That song was originally done by Ethel Waters. She co-wrote that song. And she's telling this man that she's been with, who has been tipping out on her. She says, well, listen, I tell you what, why don't you just stay over there and I'll do what I'm doing. You know, if that's what you want to do, fine. Go on back where you stayed last night, because I got me a new man.
Wow.
Charlie.
She's a strong woman.
Charlie's my new man. So, you know, I don't really need you anymore. So why don't you just stay on over there?
I tell you, and by the way, you're born and raised in?
And Memphis, Tennessee.
And you said you came here to New York City to perform in?
And Ain't Misbehaving. That's my first show. That's how I got to New York.
What was that like for you?
It was wonderful. I had, as a matter of fact, I didn't have any agents or anything like that.
You had no representation?
I had no representation because I'm right out of school in Memphis, and a friend of mine who I had done a job with in Tennessee knew the dance captain for the New York company of Ain't Misbehaving, and they were looking for a tour to go out or to go to London. And so she told her dance captain friend, I have a friend, she could do that show, she would be good in that show. And so I flew myself up to, I got an appointment, the casting director said, okay, we'll have her come in. And so I flew myself from Memphis up to audition. And it was like 3 times. Well, actually, the first 2 times I flew myself up. And then the 3rd time, my final callback, they flew me in. And and then I booked it. And so that's how I got to New York.
Hey, in 2005?
Yes.
Did you perform in a little play called Doubt?
A little play called Doubt, a little skit called Doubt.
I heard a rumor that you got recognized by your colleagues.
That's correct.
With the Tony.
With the Tony Award, Best Featured Actress in a Play.
How cool.
Wonderful. Well, it was wonderful, really, because from up to that point, I had been in musical theater. And then, actually, Doubt is my only play that I've ever done on Broadway. Now that I think about it, this is my first play. And the only play that I've ever done on Broadway at this point. I've just done a lot of musical theater. And then I got a Tony Award for not having to sing anything and for being on stage maybe, 10, 12 minutes, you know what I mean? So it was like, how did that happen?
How do you think it happened?
Well, you have to have a fabulous playwright, John Patrick Shanley. That's what you have to have, and a fabulous director and wonderful cast members. Actually, I only worked with one person in the show because I was only in one scene. I worked with Cherry Jones. And so I didn't even see the other cast members.
I know this is a ridiculous question, which will not be the first or last ridiculous question on my part. Were you born to do this?
Yes, I was, as a matter of fact. I think I certainly was. I've been doing this since I was a little kid. We did in my church in Memphis.
I was going to ask you, you did in the church?
Yeah. We did Easter plays and Christmas plays, and so I've been doing this, and I sang in choir and stuff like that. And so from a little kid, then I went to high school and college, and I just kept doing what I was always doing as a little kid. So I'm still doing that.
Do you have a backup plan? Did you ever have?
Oh, my God.
Not now?
I know. Let me tell you something.
I didn't mean now.
No.
No.
Listen.
I mean, back when you started, did you say, hey, listen, I'm going to try this, but?
I didn't even take home economics. I didn't even take typing. I didn't do any of that. You
were all in from day one?
I was all in, and it was just, just divinely ordered how I just came from Memphis, from one thing to the next to the next. And like I said, had no representation at all. My first agent got me when I did Dreamgirls. After Ain't Misbehaving, I did Dreamgirls. And then an agent happened to be at the show, and so I sent a note backstage. Want to know if they would meet me, if I could, maybe they could possibly represent me. And so that's how I got representation, so.
You're doing something right. You're doing a lot of things right. You mind if I plug again?
Go right ahead.
Adrian Lennox is one of the stars of After Midnight right here on Broadway. And I got to tell you something. By the way, it's the Cotton Club, Duke Ellington,
Yes.
the whole...
I tell you, it's just
Marsalis,
from
the orchestra.
beginning to end. People are... I can imagine that people are hoarse when they get out of the show because they're screaming their lungs out.
From cheering.
From cheering.
Yeah. Well, listen, I want to thank you for joining us here at our Lincoln Center studio. Wish you and your colleagues nothing but the best.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Good stuff.
Sure.
Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. That was wonderful.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
There's Jessie Mueller. She is an actor in Beautiful, the Carole King Musical, playing at the Stephen Sondheim Theater at 124 West 43rd Street. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great. What is it like to play the great Carole King?
it's a thrill and an honor and intimidating every night, but in a good way. Because, it's a great thing because people love her so much. And so we feel like we have a wonderful responsibility that we take on every night in the way that we tell the story and the care with which we tell it. So.
And the period that we're talking about here, we're talking about leads up to the Tapestry album, which came out in 1958 to 1971. And the name of the play is named after the song.
Yes, that was on the album Tapestry that she wrote. Yeah, it sort of covers her life when we see her first when she's about 16 years old, sort of writing all these songs and finally selling her first song until just about when Tapestry comes out and she has her Carnegie Hall concert.
Can we take a look at you?
Sure.
Yeah, doing Carole King?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
I'd like to know that your love is love I can be sure of. So tell me now, and I won't have to guess. Will you still love me tomorrow?
People forget about how that happened, right?
Yeah.
Set that up. What did we just say?
Well, I think, so we just saw a little clip of Will You Love Me Tomorrow? And in the beginning of the clip, you saw Carole King and her writing partner and husband at the time, Jerry Goffin, basically pitching the song to Donnie Kirshner, who was a music publisher at 1650 Broadway, not too far down the street.
Exactly.
And then you saw the song sort of transition into the Shirelles performing the number, who recorded it, and it became Carole and Jerry's first #1 hit.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, for those who may not appreciate or understand what Carole King's music really is all about and how much it's meant to us, some of the extraordinary songs, just on the Tapestry album
on
itself.
Tapestry, Too Late, So Far Away, Home is on there, Beautiful, Natural Woman. I mean, the list just kind of goes on. And there were a lot of newer songs for Tapestry, and then there were some songs that had been previously recorded, like Will You Love Me Tomorrow and Natural Woman, who, of course, Aretha Franklin recorded, and it was a brilliant recording. And then you get to listen to Carole's version on Tapestry, and it's a completely different experience. They're both wonderful and both very different.
When you met Carole King, describe it.
I sort of remember it very vividly, and also it's sort of a blur. But I remember she surprised us when we came back to New York. We had been out of town with the show in San Francisco doing a run out there. And we came back to rehearsal. I think we were down at Chelsea Studios. And I see Jared Spector walking down the street, who plays Barry Mann in the show. And I was all excited to give him a big hug. I hadn't seen everybody in a week. And I come into the studio, and there's Sherry Condor, Carole's manager, and also her daughter, with one of her daughters with Jerry Goffin. And then I saw Carole's hair. And I saw the hair, and I knew it was her. And I was like, okay, this is happening. And we came up in the elevators, and the elevators opened, and I saw her, and our eyes just sort of met. I think she let me give her a big hug. And then I don't really remember what happened after that. It was just looking into the eyes of someone that I had been admiring and studying for so long. It was a very cool moment.
Had she already heard you sing?
I don't know if she had at that point. Well, yes, I believe she did, because I believe they taped my audition, and she had casting approval, so she had to watch the audition. Sherry, her manager, was there at the audition, I believe. So Carole must have heard a tape at the audition, but...
You have an extraordinary voice.
Oh,
I know you hear that all the time, I'm sure. Has Carole King said anything to you about your voice in connection to hers?
No, not directly. It's funny because I've actually listened to Carole speak about her voice so much in doing the research, and there are some brilliant interviews out there, because she never thought of herself as a singer.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
Yeah, and to me, she's the best kind of singer, because it's not about the sound she's producing, it's why she's producing it and how she's producing it, and the how is because she's feeling it. So that's what I try to do every night. But it's fun because I look at this show very differently vocally than I have other roles I've done in the past, or possibly roles I'll do in the future.
You told our producers, and you've said other times, that this is like a marathon. It's physically, emotionally, on every level demanding.
It
Why?
is, and it's funny because I have to tell because sometimes I have a hard time accepting that, because I'm not running around and I'm not dancing like, you know, the rest of some of the people in the show are dancing and doing the sort of obvious physical things. But it's funny just doing the sort of range of emotions that the piece covers. There's some very, very joyful stuff and there's some very intense, painful stuff too. As an actor, I think, I was just talking to a friend about this, your mind knows the difference between really experiencing something and acting it, but your body doesn't necessarily. So your body takes on the toll of that emotional pain or that joy or whatever. So it's a lot to put my body through every night, but at the end of the night, it's worth it when you see someone at the stage door and they tell you how touched they were, or you hear the audience response at the end. So
You also play the piano.
Mm-hmm.
When did you start playing the piano?
Well, gosh, thank my parents. They had me studying when I was like first or second grade, and I didn't stick with it very long. I really wish I had. I went back into piano lessons for this part.
Is that right?
Yeah, because I knew I'll never play as well as Carole does. It's just not going to happen. I hadn't put in the time. I mean, she was playing classical music when she was like tiny. I mean, she started when she was 4 or 5. She's, she's an amazing musician, but I went back, and I'm getting help also from Jason Howland, our music director and conductor, who's doubling some of the stuff I'm playing, but hopefully that the result is a very authentic representation, because that was really important for me. I wanted to go back into piano lessons because that's so much of how she sings, is because of what she's playing and how she's playing, so.
What is it, from your perspective, about Carole King's music that touches so many people in such a meaningful fashion?
I think it has to do with her honesty and her authenticity. To me, I haven't had the pleasure of watching her live, only, taped live performances, but even just when I listen to her, there seems to be nothing between herself and an audience. It's just the music. She's like a channel for the music, and I think that's very rare in a lot of performers, because I guess there's a part of you that has to want to get out there and be in front of people, but I get a feeling from her that she sees that as a great gift and as a great blessing to be able to put her music out there, and I think that's what people get when they listen to her. They feel how personal it is to her, and then they feel from that.
You love doing this.
I do.
We're happy for you.
Thank you.
And wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you, appreciate that.
We encourage people to go see Beautiful. It is at the Stephen Sondheim Theater at 124 West 43rd Street, and Jessie Mueller is performing as Carole King. And we thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. Stay with us. We'll be right back right after this. Thank you very much.
If you would like more information on this program, or if you'd like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Visit us online at oneonone.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato, PhD, and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
Hi, I'm Ron Kuby.
Hey, I'm Curtis Sliwa. I'm Grand Poobah of the Guardian Angels, but we're back together at WABC, our home away from home. How long has it been, Ron?
6.5 years since we were exiled, and now we are back.
Yeah, but your peeps were used to, 40 years in the desert? It's only 6.5 years, so we're back to Boca Raton. No, I mean WABC.
12 to 3 on WABC.
There they are in the commercial, but here they are on public television. Curtis Sliwa, Ron Kuby. They are better known as Curtis and Kuby, heard on WABC Radio every day from noon to 3. Check you guys out.
Noon to 3, 77 WABC. That's AM.
That's AM.
Yes.
Dude, love this guy. Well, okay. You're working with this guy.
6.5 years since we were so rudely interrupted by the last owners and operators of the world-renowned WABC, #1 news talk station in the nation, and we replaced the big guy, Rush Limbaugh. He's no longer there. 12 to 3. We filled the void.
What's it like?
Well, it's great, especially given the way I left. I got the call the last day of my last show. I was told, I got a call at my daughter's soccer game telling me that I had just done my last show. Don't come to work tomorrow or ever. That was nice. After 12 years, sometimes you get a gold watch, sometimes you get a little plaque or even a last show time. No, you're done. So, I got used to being done, not being back on the radio. I would listen to Curtis periodically. And when we got back together, Cumulus brought us back together, it's been fantastic. It's a different show
Cumulus
than the show we had.
the station, right?
Cumulus owns everything. The Clear Channel does.
Is that pretty big channel?
Huge. Second biggest in the country. And it's been great fun. It really has been. It's been the show's been more relaxed than it used to be because we were doing morning drive. Morning drive, you got to get all the high points quick. Boom,
right.
boom, boom. Give everybody the information, some opinion. Move on to the next one. This is more relaxed, more stylized.
Let me ask you something. Because we've done so many things together in different venues, the thing that I always like about both of you guys is you're good with other people. You set other people up in a very conversational, relaxed way. It's just part of what you do. How quickly did you know that the two of you had not lost any of the chemistry that you had 6.5 years ago?
Well, I think I just assumed it would be there. I think Ron, because he's Jewish.
What does that have to do with it? Why would you bring that into it?
Hold on.
Why would you do that?
Jersey. You have to, because, self-doubt.
Ethnicity has everything to do.
Oy Hashem, are we going to be able to recapture? I said, don't worry about it, Ron. It'll be there. Gentile said, don't worry, it'll be there.
And it was?
It was there.
Just like that.
Actually, it occurred when we came to honor John Gambling.
That's
as
right.
he was leaving WOR, all our WABC
After 40
colleagues,
years, whatever it was, on
right,
the air.
who had worked with him. And we sat down and we started kibitzing, and it was there.
Kibitzing? Wait, hold on. Wait a minute.
I got to say this for Curtis. He is now, his current inamorata is the Queensboro president, Melinda Katz.
Yes,
This is
I'm
his
aware.
fourth. So
Why would you do that? Why would you bring
up? He did it. I didn't marry these three women. He married them.
Why would you bring up the fact that he has a fascinating background in terms of his relationship? You're fascinating. Well, because I have a fascinating background as well. Not as fascinating as yours.
Look, how much has changed? When we went off the air, we had a Republican president. Now we have a Democratic president. We had a Republican mayor. We've got a Democratic mayor. He had a Republican wife. Now he's got a Democratic wife, and she's Jewish to boot. It's fantastic.
And he's a big fan of the president and of the mayor, are you not?
Ixnay on that. I could do without
with the Democrat.
I could do without both.
Come on, why? Seriously.
But it's actually easier to do talk radio when you're on the offensive, when you're on the attack,
Make the case.
than having to defend sometimes things that even you say to yourself, I got to defend that? No.
War in Iraq, for example.
Will you give the guy a chance to talk? Forget about the chemistry thing. Now I'm realizing it's not as good as I thought.
But see, that's the other. Steve, that's the other big difference. Is before we had to do all subjects, international, national, local. Now we're focused live and local because radio got away from live and local. And so when WABC, the #1 news talk station in the nation, makes a commitment to live and local, who do they kick it off with? Curtis and Kuby. You can't get any more live and local than that.
And who wants to hear one more right-wing talk show host talk about Obamacare one more time?
Do we have a few of those?
I will say this, though, Steve. He has
He's got
brought
a point.
me over. He's not from Indonesia. He's not from Kenya. He smoked the Maui Wowie Hindu Kush in Hawaii. He wanted to be a haole. But he is a socialist. He's not a communist, ladies and gentlemen. Barack Obama is a socialist.
Why don't you show more respect to the office of the presidency?
I do. He is the president of the United States.
You got to call him those names.
Well, he is.
He's not.
He did smoke Maui Wowie Hindu Kush. He wrote it in his memoir.
Curtis, you could
said he did lines of cocaine too, right?
Hold on. You could disagree with the president, but you call him names. You call him a socialist. Why can't you say that he has points of view that you disagree with, that you think are too far to the left?
That sounds very PBS-y.
Yeah, it really
because
is.
in PBS, we don't call names.
I wish the guy was a socialist. He's a bourgeois liberal, that's all.
Oh, he's got to call him another name, a bourgeois. Now, what's a bourgeois liberal?
Bourgeois liberal is just, somebody...
Wait, what do you mean like me?
Which do you want me to answer first?
Go ahead.
Right.
Bourgeois liberal, pass the Grey Poupon, please, but you still maintain your liberal credentials,
and basic commitment to the capitalist system. And Barack Obama has shown that, unfortunately, over almost 6 years now in office.
Not liberal enough for you. He's way okay.
He's a socialist. Okay, we dealt with socialists before. We can deal. We dealt with Jimmy Carter. We survived Jimmy Carter. We'll survive Barack Obama.
And most important, we survived 8 years of George Bush, and we survived those 8 years of peace and prosperity under Bill Clinton. Those horrible times.
Hey, guys,
are over.
6.5 years. Now you're together. We need to go forward. I'm gonna give you some names. Give me 15 seconds on each one of them. De Blasio, you didn't say anything. Give me something.
I think Bill de Blasio needs to figure out where he's going and how he's getting there, but I appreciate his politics. We'll see if he can implement
De Blasio.
comrade Bill de Blasio.
Can you do this again?
Yeah, he's so Blasio. That's his new nickname, Blase.
He got elected overwhelmingly.
Hey, so few people came out, right? You think they really know Bill de Blasio? They know Dante, his son. That's why they elected him mayor. He went from 10 to 40% with Dante doing the commercial. When de Blasio did the commercials, he was at 10%. Dante, he's at 40%.
Chris Christie.
In way over his head. I was never a Christie basher. I always liked some of the things that he did. Didn't like the way he always went after the teachers. You know, you always go after the teachers when you want to break a union. Yeah, you may have read about that.
He went after the teachers. He wanted to reform tenure.
Oh, that's right. Right. He wanted to destroy the teachers' union. Why doesn't he go after the cops? Same kind of civil service.
Well,
Why doesn't he go after the firefighters? Same kind of civil service. He doesn't do that because they have a lot more pushback. It's easy to go after people with master's degrees who are entrusted with our most precious commodity.
I do notice on talk radio, do not let anybody else talk. But the other thing about you, Ron,
it's
on
the
PBS,
Curtis and Kuby show.
But yeah, Ron, we actually have civil dialogue, which you would not know much about on the show. But as I was saying, Ron, this partnership, the official name of the station is 77 WABC, right?
Right.
You guys are going to be together for how long? Predictions. Look how silent they are. Look at this, guys. Right?
Hey,
how long?
Longer than any of my marriages have lasted, right?
I don't find that encouraging. I really don't.
Wait, but at least with this partner, I don't have to sleep with him.
Amen to that.
Yes.
Listen, we wish you nothing but the best. And what's the best Jewish expression I can give? No, I'm going to do an Italian expression. Cendane, 100 years together. I love you guys.
So much, Steve.
Thank you, guys.
One on One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System. This special edition of One on One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Virtua, NJIT, New Jersey Natural Gas, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, TD Bank, and by the New Jersey Education Association. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.